We all know Genghis Khan, the founder of the Mongol Empire. But do you know the man who took that empire and turned it into the largest contiguous land empire in human history? This is the story of his son Ögedei Khan, the empire builder whose death literally saved Europe. When Ögedei took the throne in 1229, the Mongols were already a force to be reckoned with, controlling a vast territory from China to Central Asia. But under Ögedei, the empire didn't just grow, it exploded. He was the architect of the Mongol world conquest, unleashing his generals on an unprecedented campaign of expansion. First, he turned his attention west. The mighty Khwarezmian Empire in Persia was crushed. The kingdoms of Armenia and Georgia were brought to their knees. Then, his army stormed into the lands of the Rus in a series of devastating campaigns. They annihilated the armies of the Kievan Rus, often at kill ratios of nearly 5-1. Cities like Kiev and Ryazan, once vibrant centers of culture, were burned to the ground. Hundreds of cities across Eurasia met a similar fate, leaving a trail of destruction that echoed for centuries. But Ögedei wasn't finished. In 1241, his generals Subutai and Batu Khan launched a full-scale invasion of Europe. The scale and speed of the Mongol advance were terrifying. In a single week they fought 2 major battles, hundreds of miles apart, and won both decisively. First, they annihilated a combined Polish and German army at the Battle of Lignica. Just 2 days later, they crushed the main Hungarian army at the Battle of Mohi. Over 100,000 European soldiers were killed. The path to the heart of Europe, to Vienna, to Rome, lay wide open. The continent held its breath, bracing for the apocalypse. Knights, kings, and popes were powerless. It seemed nothing could stop the Mongol horde. Except one thing did. Back in the Mongol capital of Karakorum, Ögedei Khan died. The news traveled across the empire like wildfire. According to Mongol tradition, all princes of the bloodline had to return to the capital to elect a new great Khan. The Mongol armies poised at the gates of Vienna, turned around, packed up and rode east, leaving a shocked and devastated Europe behind. They never returned with the same force. If Ögedei had lived for just 1 more year, the history of the world might look completely different. There might have been no Renaissance, no age of discovery as we know it. Europe might have become just another province of the great Mongol Empire. But Ögedei was more than just a conqueror. He was also a builder. He established a fixed capital at Karakorum, transforming it from a nomadic camp into a bustling cosmopolitan city. He created the Yam, a revolutionary postal and supply system with relay stations that connected the vast empire, fostering trade and communication on an unprecedented scale. He carried out his father's vision, but he also put his own stamp on the empire, creating an administrative and logistical backbone that allowed it to function. Ögedei Khan, the unstoppable force, the empire builder, the man whose conquests redrew the map of the world, and whose timely death saved a continent. He may live in his father's shadow, but his impact on history is undeniable. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories you might have missed. See you next time.